welcome to the BoshNRoll channel. If you want to support my daily Eternal Magic offerings while getting amazing perks like the BoshNRoll Discord community, have me play your deck on the channel, or listen sideboard guides before tournaments, check out the Patreon or YouTube membership program. This channel is possible because of these amazing sponsors. Check them out, all their links are in the video description. As always, thanks for being here. Let's go play some Magic.
Welcome back to the BoshNRoll channel. Today I'm playing Legacy, and this is Esper Stoneblade. This list was sent to me by Patreon subscriber First Revenge, but it is the list that Maxtortion, MTGO content creator, YouTuber, the Max in the MinMax blog website, used to get second place in the Magic Legacy Cup in MagicCon Vegas. And I'm excited about this deck for a variety of reasons. Number one, I played Dimir Frog Reanimator at MagicCon Vegas, and I had a very bad time. I did not enjoy playing that deck, and I'm almost certainly off it for Eternal Weekend. If you want more of my thoughts about that, the Eternal Glory podcast from last week, I go into it pretty hard. And in terms of play Reanimator or have a plan to beat Reanimator, I really like a fair Psychic Frog deck with a critical mass of cheap disruption and powerful threats. And that's what this deck offers. I've been saying on the podcast and on this channel and to my coaching clients over the last 2 months or so that every time I play Stoneblade, I've been pretty impressed in this format. Stoneforge Mystic showing up, adding redundancy to your scary 2-drop slot. Because a lot of the Psychic Frog decks, they have Nethergoyf, which starts small and is pretty predictable what it's going to do in a game. And they have Tamiyo, which doesn't actually deal damage. And then they have Psychic Frog, where your opponent can decide if cards or damage matter more to them. And of course, Psychic Frog is both, if they just want to wait. But Stoneforge Mystic offers a second playset of terrifying things that can happen on turn 2. There's no Nethergoyf here. There's only 2 Tamiyos. We are probably going to ponder Thoughtseize or Nile Spellbomb or fetch Undercity Sewers on most turn 1s, and then play something scary most turn 2s. And on top of that, we've got the new Pre-War Formalware, a card that I have played in paper before, but never on the channel, thanks to the Magic Online team for getting Fallout in here. It's a 3-mana equipment. When it enters, return target creature card with mana value 3 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield and attach this to it. Equipped creature gets +2/+2 and Vigilance. That means if you play Stoneforge Mystic, tutor Formalware, your opponent's not incentivized to Fatal Push your Stoneforge Mystic because it'll just come back and be bigger and get another equipment, which sets up cool things like if Cauldron or Batterskull are just in your hand and you play Stoneforge, you get a Formalware. Oops, this is here now. That also means if your Psychic Frog gets killed, Stoneforge Mystic can, in a roundabout way, tutor another bigger Psychic Frog out of your deck. Just redundancy of threats. And this is a proper mid-range deck. And the appeal of mid-range is that you get to be a bigger controller deck against decks that are faster than you, like combo and aggro. And then you get to be an aggressive deck versus decks that are slower than you, like control. And mid-range frequently has the problem where it's just not as good at either plan as the dedicated decks, but I think there's actually a spot for mid-range in the format right now. And one of the big weaknesses that I identified while I was playing Reanimator is that decks that could just absorb a 3 or 4 card deficit are well equipped to fight Reanimator. Meaning, like, if your opponent spends Entomb, that's a card. They spend Reanimate, that's a card. Then they put Atraxa into play, and you plow Atraxa in response to the trigger. Then Atraxa's gone. You've 1 for 2'd already, so they spend Entomb and Reanimate to get the Atraxa into play. You spend 1 card to answer the Swords of Plowshares. They get 4 cards off the Atraxa. They're basically up 2 or 3 cards on the exchange. And if those cards don't immediately present another threat, Stoneforge Mystic will get you a card. Connecting with Frog will connect you a card. Resolving Formalware will get you a card. Snapcaster gets you a card. We could just make that up as long as we're not dying to whatever the big stupid thing was in the first place. I like the cheap interaction. I like the cheap threats. I like the density of threats. I'm excited to try this deck. This or something like it is close to what I want to be doing at Eternal Weekend, and this is my first outing with it, and let's hope it goes well. Building a new deck is one of the best feelings in TCG gaming. Sleeving it up, laying it out, thinking about the new strategy and all the cool new cards you get to try, but you're still a few cards short of getting to play with it. You log into the usual TCG online marketplace only to realize shipping will cost more than the cards. Put an end to that with Card Trader Zero from cardtrader.com. Card Trader functions as your personal P.O. box, collecting orders from sellers all around the world and shipping you one affordable package. Shop their worldwide marketplace and save on shipping at cardtrader.com and use code BoshNRoll for 5% off your first order. I'm on the draw in round 1. I don't like that I don't have a blue card for this force, but that's the only thing I don't like about this hand. I am going to keep. If they come out blazing, might be in some trouble. We're good against creatures, we're good against removal. I mentioned the trick in the deck tech of tutoring Formalware when you already have Batterskull. And tutoring Batterskull when you already have Formalware works too. When it's on a Multi 6 with an Urza Saga. Okay, there is nothing I care about this Pithing Needle naming. They probably name Wasteland. Yeah, they did name Wasteland. The list does not have Wasteland in it. I thought it did. Okay. Yep, I must have been confused with the density of lists that I consumed after Vegas. I'm pretty sure I saw a Stoneblade list with 3 Wastelands, but it's not this one, as we've learned. And rather than cast Ponder, I like holding this Force of Will because there's a good chance this is Forge combo. And I would rather have something to do here, or have some protection here, than not have protection. Ridiculous Archive. Batterskull, that's embarrassing. Well, I don't want to draw it. Caldra's still in the deck. If I draw Caldra right now, I'm quitting Magic. Okay, I get to keep playing. That's good news. Underground Sea, Stoneforge Mystic, go get Caldra. I do have to beat the Urza Saga, but Caldra is a big old monster to do that with. I'm also holding Prismatic Ending. I can kill 1 construct next turn. What I'm worried about here is if the Saga tutors Vexing Bauble and then they just go off and win the game immediately, which I'm not well set up for this turn. There it is. What's the payoff? Is it Karn? Is it Forge? Is it One Ring? It is the One Ring. Okay. That sucks a lot. City of Traders. Voltaic Key. This activates the One Ring again if they want it to. Okay. Just decided they have enough cards. That's fair. 2 is plenty of cards to win a game with. Who am I to judge? Flooded Strand, Fetch. I don't think they're going to disrupt my mana. And there is Mystic Sanctuary in the deck just in case that matters. I'm going to get a Tundra. I'm going to end this Bauble. And I'm going to pass. They have the One Ring protection right now, so clapping with Caldra doesn't really do it. Ring activation, good for 2 cards. Okay, they know how to untap the ring. That's scary. I was hoping they didn't. And the game plan here is deal damage with Caldra and hope their ring kills them. Another key. Ancient Tomb is the land they have right now. I mean, 7 cards in hand, good chance there's another land in there. And there was. What a surprise. Activating the ring again. Mystic Forge combo is very good against fair decks. I'm just putting that out into the world right now, in case it wasn't clear. The position of this deck is very good against decks like this one. My sideboard has 3 Consigns, Wrath of the Skies, Null Rod. Pest Control has options. Harbinger has options. Pretty heavy sideboard for this. Bowmaster has options. Ugh, hate that. But there it is. I'm not going to force it because I'm spending all my mana this turn anyway. The end step, put in Caldra. What's super annoying here is that Eldrazi command, Kozilek's command, actually kills the Germ for 0. They could just tap Ancient Tomb and exile the Germ and draw a card. Pretty messed up, TBH. Okay. Teferi has a lot of words, none of which I hate here. I do hate Vexing Bauble. How many Prismatic Endings am I playing? Just 1 more. But I can actually guarantee it. Oh, this is pretty sick. Mystic Sanctuary, welcome to Legacy. Welcome back. Been a long time since I played with that card and was happy with it. Mystic Sanctuary, get back Prismatic Ending. Yes. Cast Teferi. Bounce the Construct for damages. Get rid of the Vexing Bauble. That's 2 of those gone. They can draw roughly infinite cards, though, on their turn. They're at 5. They got to win this turn through a Force of Will with every key they use to draw cards is a key they don't have to ramp mana on future monoliths. I don't think I'm in a good spot, but that Teferi was a very exciting draw. And the Mystic Sanctuary tied it all together. It's very clear, though, that I have Force of Will from the play that I took. Another City of Traders, pain-free mana. Glaring Fleshraker. This could just kill me. I'm dead to basically everything, but this thing literally kills me. Where Mystic Forge or Karn could run out of juice. Like, they have to actually win this turn, because the One Ring is going to kill them in their upkeep, and Culture's lethal in combat. They have to handle both of these situations, and the cleanest way to do that is to win the game outright. Assault Monolith, 9 cards in hand. This is 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 mana. That's Karn plus Lattice, but that doesn't even beat me because I can just attack for 5, and that doesn't clear their ring. Still digging. And using the key on that ring is 2 mana they don't have with Monolith. They've already made their land drop for the turn. There's 5 mana showing right now. Obviously the deck's full of Monoliths though, so we could see more. Okay, pivoting over to making mana with this other key now. Uh-oh, well, probably dead to that. 14 cards in hand. They all cost 1 less. They all damage me as they enter. Yeah, it's pretty clear that I would have responded by now if I could have. I'm going to F6. There's nothing being bluffed at this point. Pedal into another key. This is worth an extra mana. This is free because of the spawns. I'm also at 8. All right, going for a ring activation, looking for more spells to cast. I'd be surprised if they whiff here. It seems pretty close to impossible. Another key. That's another 8 cards if they want them. Or another 3 mana. Monolith, I'm at 6. Soul Guide Lantern. Just a free spell that deals 1 damage to me. That's pretty good. And this was mostly play draw though. Like, this did come down to 1 turn, and my opponent went first. Pretty good showing for a matchup that's certainly horrendous. In game 1. Command that is lethal, because they get to make 2 more dopes, and the dopes hurt me. Okay, cool. Null Rod, Consigned to Memory, Wrath of the Skies. These are cards I definitely want. And then Pest Control seems really good here too. Bowmaster is a maybe. Harbinger is a maybe. Spellbomb doesn't matter. Batterskull doesn't matter. This matchup's not really about damage in a traditional sense. Like, they did win with damage, but they could have done 30 more if they wanted to. The Formal Wear is interesting here because it's not a deck with removal or counter spells. Their 1 removal spell is exile based, and they don't play any counters. So what is this for? I have in the past shaved some Stoneforges when the package gets smaller, especially if I'm going to be on Bowmaster. Maybe the Stoneforge package comes out in its entirety, even though Cauldron is a unit. I'm just thinking things out here. Nothing's locked. Plow does hit Fleshraker, which is important, and clears constructs out of the way, also important. Every blue card matters for Force of Will. Thoughtseize matters. Prismatic Ending matters. Teferi's not great, but it is blue for force and has some words on it. Yeah, I think this is actually a no Stoneforge situation. I could even shave 1 or 2 plows for some Harbingers. That's +1 answer to Urza's Saga, -1 answer to Glaring Fleshraker. Yeah, I'm going to leave a few in, but I do like that change. Okay, let's try this. The full Stoneforge out pivot. I will keep this. The Ponder is interesting. I am going to cast it though. It does give up on my blue card, but it looks at black mana for pest control. I don't think I want 3 lands here. I'm going to shuffle. Gotta land anyway. Motobug. City. Petal. Monolith. Key. Am I going to lose this game because I cast Ponder? The irony is not lost on me. Shit. Yeah, they didn't even hesitate. They're just like, here's my stupid thing. Ouch. Okay. Maybe I'm just not supposed to ponder there. Mox Opal, Lotus Petal. Now I need to draw Null Rod. I would take Null Rod or a blue card here. Those are my interests. None of the above. Cool. Yeah, shouldn't have pondered. I accept the loss here if we end up losing. I can kill 3 permanents, which is pretty good. But they're going to quickly make all those up with the 1 ring. They can even make them up right now by untapping the ring. Okay, they didn't untap the ring. They just floated mana. What are they doing with that? Okay, that's twice in this game now that they could have drawn 2 cards and didn't. Oh no, was the key tapped? Do I even... No, I think the key was tapped already. Am I just talking out of my ass? Yeah, okay. I think the key was tapped. The Opal and the Petal were available. My bad. Petal. Monolith. Workshop kills City. This taps for 1. They have 5 mana right now. Blue card? Oh my goodness, a blue card. I'm going to save this Wrath until it's good for 2. And I'll pass the turn here. And killing them with their own One Ring's my only plan. Not a good plan from 20 life, though. I'll be honest. Second Workshop, these are now full City of Traders action. Right, that doesn't stop Force of Will. Just dump out more permanents that die to Wrath of the Skies. Just play a bunch of 2-drops. It's fine. What could go wrong? Mystic Forge, that's not a 2-drop. Yeah, I think I have to force this. Fetch a Tundra. Yeah, the defense grid did cost me my Surveil land this turn, which is not nothing. Vexing Bauble. Yeah, you got any more 2-drops? 0s, 1s, and 2s? Prismatic Ending. Yeah, this is the power of the One Ring. This play is going to be completely freaking insane, but also not really save me. Yeah, they draw a card on the way out. I do take them off Metalcraft, so these are just wastes for now. There's only 3 colors in the deck. I can't clear this ring with an ending. Yeah, I just shouldn't have cast that Ponder on turn 1 and guaranteed that I had Force Blue card available. I got greedy. I got so excited about the Wrath and the Pest Control in my hand. I was like, I can mop up here if they don't have the nuts. But they do. And that was avoidable. Just especially in post-board games. Like if they had taken a turn investing in a defense grid or a Vexing Bauble, that play pattern gets punished by my hand, but they just rod in completely unprotected turn 1 One Ring. There's Karn. It can cast a 3-drop right now. I can't possibly win this game. Just putting that out there. Though Ancient Tomb's in play, rings at 4. Depends on what this Karn does, I guess. I can kill the Fleshraker. I just need their deck to fail. Grab the Mystic Forge out of exile. Assault Monolith. There's a key. That should just about end it now that they can really start ripping with the Forge. Oh, they passed. Fun. Okay. Swords to Plowshares, the Fleshraker. Prismatic Ending, the key. I think that's as good as that gets. They could draw 5 cards in response here. Yep. And I'm not going to play this land because I need them to think about something. Think about Consigned to Memory a little bit. If I just play this out, I'm definitely dead. Opponents at 8 in their upkeep. Third Workshop. This is so sick. They tap for 3 now. They've assembled Urza's Tower. Karn can get Paradox Engine now, and then we lose. Okay. I've seen enough. Yeah, this was just me getting greedy. The intersection of Ponder misses on blue card and they shove on turn 1 doesn't happen every game. I do have a lot of blue cards. They also don't shove on turn 1 every game, especially in the post-board games, but I could have played around it, so it's not useful to talk about how lucky they were or how unlucky I was when I literally had an option to eliminate the whole risk factor at all. So that one's on me. Don't get caught slipping by this deck. It is very powerful, and I flew too close to the sun. On to the next round.
This video is sponsored by Moxfield.com, the easiest way to build Magic decks online. Moxfield supports over 30 formats, including Legacy and everything else you'll see on this channel. There's multiple customizations so you can interact with your deck how you want. Views such as text, grid, or stacks, and groupings like type, subtype, color, color identity, even artist. The site offers light mode, dark mode, and so much more. However you want to see your deck, Moxfield can provide it for you. Follow my Moxfield to keep up with the channel and what I'm playing in paper. I'll see you there.
I'm on the play in round 2. I'm going to keep my hand with Thoughtseize. I love Thoughtseizing, people. Just feels so powerful. I'm going to reach in your brain. I know your thoughts, and I take the best one. And they mulled to 6. Elvish Spirit Guide Vexing Bauble was the keep. What is going on over here? Okay, this is 12 post with Planar Nexus. This is Yavimaya. What the hell is going on here? I'm going to take Vexing Bauble because it's a cantrip and their hand is garbage. This is a scary matchup, though. Could definitely break the wrong way, especially since I had to play my lands in this fashion. I'm going to brainstorm first, see if I can come up with a fetch land or something useful. Swords of Plowshare, Spellbomb. Not going to need a Spellbomb in this matchup. Can use that to start working through the brainstorm. And it's just about damage from here. Damage versus the top of their deck. Found another Nexus. I'm going to brainstorm first. because I don't think I want Swords of Plowshares. Okay, I think I'd rather Frog than Stoneforge here. Plow is not important to me, and I'm going to redraw one of these if I play Frog, so I'll just choose a land to put back. Oh no! I misclicked. I actually needed the scrub land. Stoneforge it is. Just blading like crazy. Sorry, Max, I'm not doing the best showcase of your deck here. Cauldron complete. Okay. I wish that was Psychic Frog, but luckily, the redundancy of my deck bailing me out. It might even be right. I'm not trying to justify me punting, but it might actually be right just to put the most damage possible on the board versus the deck that is designed to go over the top of card advantage. And I drew a land, so I got Frog going now. Attack. I will force a crop rotation here if they have one, because that represents potentially Mazavith. Oh, yep, Kozilek's Command. Hate that card. I'm going to pitch Ponder to force that. It's just about getting damage over the line before they stabilize. I'm going to get a Tundra. I'm going to aggressively fetch non-basics in game 1 and try to not make it super obvious that I can support Harbinger. They should know that if they're dialed into Legacy. It's not a big secret, but it is something I can do to try to tell the wrong story for them. Oh yeah, we're on casting Spirit Guide time. So their hand is Glimmerpost Forest and one unknown. They did find the tower, which is on because of Planar Nexus. I'm gonna jump the Frog. I do have Snapcaster Mage in my deck. Want to leave the spells back there. And I am going to put Stoneforge into combat, even though it just dies, but they can absorb 1 damage to take 2 damage. I think I'm okay with that. Pre-War Formal Ware's in my deck somewhere. Opponent's at 9. There's Tamiyo, who I can flip immediately. Tamiyo. Ponder. This is my 3rd card. Thoughtseize, Stoneforge Mystic. I don't think Thoughtseizing them is good. Alright, I'll take the Stoneforge Mystic, flip Tamiyo. Plus Tamiyo. Stoneforge. Get Batterskull. I know I just mentioned Formal Wear, but I don't think either of these matter. Glimmerpost gains 3 life here. They're back to 12. They've got 7 mana. Oh no, they found a crop rotation. That sucks. Are they going to turtle up with it or try to win with it? I don't know what winning with it looks like. They can't quite activate Eye of Ugin. If they have a Glacial Chasm, they can hide behind that for a very long time. But Jukabog. Okay, that's smart. That makes it so the Frog can't fly, and Tamiyo can't buy back Force of Will, which was my plan this turn. And another Spirit Guide. So their hand is basic Forest right now. You're saying there's a chance. Draw for turn. I'm going to start with Brainstorm. Yeah, I don't need a Plains. I don't need a Frog. If I put back... How can I make this work? Brainstorm will be in the graveyard. If I put back Batterskull and Force of Will, I can discard Plains and Psychic Frog to the Frog, jump the Frog with those, and then pass with Force Blue card up. I could also skip drawing a card to just put in Batterskull this turn. We need to actually do damage math here. They're taking at least 1 from Cauldron, and then they would take 3 from Psychic Frog in this world. They'd be at 8. I think I should spend a turn putting Batterskull into play. Is that something I can do here? Yeah, I just put back Frog and Plains. Okay, put back Plains and Frog. Or Plains and Snapcaster, because if I discard something or pitch something, I'd prefer to pitch Frog to pitching Snapcaster. Okay, Plains and Snapcaster go back. I can minus Tamiyo and just get my Brainstorm right now. Then Frog can't jump. But I do have an extra card to discard to it. If I attack with Frog and they double block, I'd have to discard 3 cards, then I can't hold up Force. Yeah, I'm going to get Brainstorm back from my graveyard and just attack with Cauldron. And then I'll put in Batterskull and playing the slow game here. This is partially informed by casting that Ponder last game and losing because I gave up on Force Blue card. I could make an aggressive attack here, put them to 3, draw an extra card. But if I just play it safe, I think I'm okay. Okay, stealing game 1 against this deck is really nice. Now the Harbingers come in. Consign is somewhat reasonable here. They have a lot of triggered abilities in their deck, and I assume Sowing Mycospawn's in there somewhere. We got options on Consign. Nile Spellbound comes out. I do like Stoneforge Mystic here. I'm not making a Bowmaster switch. I like Thoughtseize. I like Tamiyo. Swords to Plowshares might be medium, and Teferi might be medium. Yeah, ooh, took them all. I'm going to make this change right now. I'll try it like this. This might be too many consigns. They might have more creatures than we saw that game. Like Elvish Reclaimer's probably in this deck, but I did leave in a lot of removal. Just not as much as I could. I'll keep this. I have the best card in my deck and the ability to see more cards. I can also apply pressure and interact a little bit. I'd love to just draw 2 lands in the next 2 turns. Don't betray me, Ponder. I need you. Once Upon a Time. The only time I ever force a Will of Once Upon a Time is against vintage Bazaar decks. Just putting that out there, in case anyone ever wonders if it's right to do that. Cool. Tundra, Ponder. Access to basic planes is big. I can only cast this Thoughtseize if I give up on basic planes. I guess I want to cast Stoneforge next turn anyway. Okay. I am not going to shuffle, and I am going to pass. They have 3 mana available right now. I'm drawing Prismatic Ending. I'm going to fetch for basic planes and play Stoneforge. I guess I could have played the island here and then fetch for planes next turn, and then I'm not tipping my hand on the basic. I don't think that really matters, though. Like, if they're playing Cloud Post lands in 2024 Legacy, they know about Harbinger and Back to Basics. I'm not going to surprise them. Disruptor Flute. All right, disrupt me. I'm not going to spend a force on that when they have game-ending spells in their deck. They named Stoneforge. That's okay. There's the Tower. Suddenly 6 mana available. Yeah, if they kick a Myco Spawn here, that actually sucks every ass. Oh, they don't have green, though. They have 5 mana if they filter a green. Yeah, they couldn't kick this. And search their library for a land, but Wasteland is just as good here. Are they even going to play Wasteland in this deck? I don't really know what they're doing. Yep, they do have Wasteland. Sucks. Okay. Well, there's that. You got me. Tamiyo or Prismatic Ending are my choices here. I'm going to play Tamiyo. Can't activate the Stoneforge with the flute in play. Eye of Ugin. Can't quite tutor yet. Come on, deck. How about we draw a land? That would be nice. Blue source, blue source, blue source. Exiling Tamiyo and scrying X. I'm going to force this pitching to Fairy or Snapcaster Mage Worse. I'm going to force pitching Snapcaster and just hope to rip a blue source right now and start flipping it around. Blue source? Shit. Black card. The opposite of blue source. An attack with Tamiyo, and I'm just going to crack my clue. If this draws a land, especially if it's Underground Sea, nope. Not interested in attacking with Stoneforge Mystic, apparently. Didn't need that damage. Here's the forest we know about. This represents activating Eye of Ugin. There's mana in the pool. They changed their mind. Exiling Tamiyo and drawing a card. Or no, they're making spawns. Okay. Tamiyo's gone. Spawns are in. Still enough mana to activate Eye of Ugin. Or do something worse. Karn the Great Creator, yikes. Can't beat that. Liquid Metal Coating, they could cast that off spawns and then Rashad and port me in my upkeep. They did go after the planes, which means I can zap spawn. Yeah, that Wasteland is going to end the game, though. Okay. Let's try this again on the play. I win that game on the play, which has been a theme so far. Is this deck going to kill a Stoneforge Mystic or a Frog, or are they just going to exile it? Maybe Formal Wear isn't where I want to be. Teferi can up my generic permanent answers. It is another 3-drop, though, in a situation where those aren't very good. Wrath of the Skies can clear a bunch of dopes and pithing needles and stuff, but that is a long-term plan in a matchup that's really about getting the hooks in early. I think I'm going to bring Teferi back in. Yeah, I'm going to try that. Just ups my blue count, generic answer to stuff. It's a turn 2 frog. I could ponder to try to smooth out what is supporting the frog, or I could just play sewers to guarantee the frog is going to happen. The opponent went to 6. I'd love to see Force of Will off the Surveil. Stoneforge Mystic. I actually am going to get rid of that because I'm more interested in interaction. I have a threat already. Once Upon a Time. Found Planar Nexus. Stoneforge Mystic anyway. Running the cheats and it's working. I'm going to get Tundra here. and play Frog. Frog is not disrupted by Psychic or by Disruptor Flute meaningfully. It can't jump or grow, but it can still attack and draw cards, which is what I needed to do. They do have the 4 mana on turn 2 start. Okay, that's out of here. Didn't have the backup for that. Consigned to memory. Okay. I'm going to ponder. It's time to take a turn off. I'm going to shuffle this. Just really need lands here. We did it. Okay, I'll pass. They're untapping into 6 mana. Another tower, geez. We're in the danger zone. The second tower lets them filter into a kicked Myco spawn, which is happening. I'm going to counter the 2 triggers. I gotta hope that I can beat a 3/3, but I can't beat them killing all my lands. So they exile 1, they tutor Wasteland with the other. A ponder. Start there. I have a shuffle pending. Force of Will. Don't hate it. Stoneforge Mystic. Go get Cauldron, which is the only target left. And I'm not going to ponder because I have Force of Will available. Force of Will is not going to win me this game, but it might keep me alive. It's going to have to because they can activate Eye of Ugin already on turn 4. Flute. I accept Flute. The Flute means if they're gonna Eye of Ugin this turn, they have to do it in their main phase. And spend their spawns to do it, which gives me a huge draw for Harbinger. That is happening. Here we go. Got another spawn. They have a plan. Okay, deck. Harbinger of the Seas. Off the top. Harbinger. Harbinger. Prismatic Ending. It's not useless. It's not good, though. It starts sending some damage down the hole, but I am going to lose 2 lands this turn. And I'm still under Eye of Ugin. Cloud Post. This is 2 horrendous matchups in a row, by the way. Forge Combo is a top 10 deck in Legacy right now by the numbers. That deck does need to be understood and respected. These Planar Nexus decks aren't as popular as the other one is, but they are both horrible matchups. Like I said about in the deck tech about mid-range decks, their thing is going over low-to-the-ground decks and going under big decks. These decks are so big that that's not even really viable. They didn't go after a Wasteland here. They prioritized Yavimaya. It's interesting. What are we doing with that? Oh, just kicking another one of these fucking things. Holy smokes. Okay, I guess I can't concede. And they exiled my non-basic instead of tutoring Wasteland and putting me down to 1 land. All right, Cauldron, you're up, fella. Hey, I'm going to... This is indestructible, so you don't have to pay for it. I'm going to put in Batterskull and then not pay for anything and hope that my stats can somehow beat their board plus active Eye of Ugin. Not paying. You can't make me. That one's dead. I don't need it anymore. All right, tempo game. Let's go. They do have to spend a turn activating Eye of Ugin, and they also have to pay for their Myco spawns, which they have multiple lands that tap for multiple mana, but it's not free. And they're not pushing damage back on me either. Crop rotation. I don't think this is where I can put my Force of Will. I gotta hope they spend this turn tutoring on Eldrazi, and the next turn me countering that Eldrazi. So if it's Ulamog or Emrakul, it's not gonna matter. 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Yeah, they can cast Emrakul next turn. Karn. Well, gotta spend a force on that. I'm gonna pitch Frog because Ponder might still find a plow or something that keeps me in this. They can definitely cast Emrakul next turn if they play one. Or they could tutor some mid-range Eldrazi right now and just put that in front of what I'm doing. Yeah, the 4th Myco spawn. Let's go. I wasn't using my lands anyway. But they didn't play it. They're waiting to kick it, it seems. Hopefully I can punish that. A handful of blue cards. Come on, weapons. Get over the finish line. Triple blocking the germ. Can't give it death touch. I don't have the means. The opponent's at 5. I'm at 16. They got plenty of just meat to put in front of the Cauldron to survive multiple turns here. If they play a Mazavith, I can't possibly beat it. Casting Once Upon a Time. They must not have a big Eldrazi like an Emrakul or an Ulamog, or that would have been just cleanly the plan even 2 turns ago. Another kicked Myco spawn. My lands are gone, I get it. Glimmer Post, yeah, just gain 4. It's another turn. And now we're racing. I am still winning the race. It would not take much to flip that. I can't cast this Force of Will because I'll die. I'm at exactly 10 and they have 9 power. Unless they block. Bummer. Yeah, they just need literally an Eldrazi in their deck. Or a route to another Glimmer Post. And, yep. I'm at exactly the wrong life total. Okay. Horrendous matchup. Game 2 came down to them using the Tactical Wasteland to take me off Harbinger. That was almost locked up, but they were just ahead of me. This one, not close. Maybe in this matchup, you need to mulligan more aggressively. Try to find a Harbinger. Like, I could have, instead of committing to turn 2 Psychic Frog with this hand, I could have just been pondering starting turn 1 and trying to sculpt a Harbinger into play. Maybe you have to do that here, because it did not feel like I could really blitz them, even though they are at 4 and they have all this going on. More lessons learned. It's tough to be a mid-range gamer in Legacy. The format has been so fast and so polarized for so long that might have to both casting the Ponder to lose the Force of Will in round 1 and then not aggressively pondering for my sideboard cards in game 2. Maybe that's just, I need to adjust back to being mid-range and what that means. You just can't take any risks because every deck is better than you if you give them a crack to operate through. Good to know. Let's keep going.
The BoshNRoll channel is proudly partnered with the Resleevables.
Good. All right, here we go, gang.
In this YouTube series, hosts Cedric Phillips and Patrick Sullivan take us on a set-by-set journey through the good, the bad, and the ugly of Magic's history. Each episode is a focused deep dive into the facts about a set's design and release, the Magic lore expressed through the cards in that set, Tournament Edition gameplay videos featuring products and Pro Tour decks of the era, an award show that shouts out the best and weirdest cards of the set, and a final grade for the set's overall success. Whether you want a history lesson or a nostalgia hit, The Resleevables has it at youtube.com/theresleevables.
I'm on the draw in round 3. No lands, gotta ship it. Oh, this is ugly. And double force, double blue cards buys a lot of time. I don't know if 5 cards is going to be better. I'll try this even though I hate it. Do I want to bottom Plow and just hope they're an unfair deck? Or do I bottom a Force and hope they're a fair deck? Those are the 2 modes here. I'm going to bottom a Force. Flooded Strand. Basic Island. Ponder. They just yelled Island Ponder Keep at me in the chat. I'd love to draw a Ponder. Pretty close. I'm going to fetch Underground Sea and take a peek. My second favorite card to cast on turn 1. Okay, Brainstorm, Narset, Wandering Emperor. I think I'm taking Brainstorm. I can build a plan around knowing about these clunky 3 and 4 drops in their hand. I don't want them moving these cards around, turning these bad lands into good cards. Show off. All right, whatever. I'm not going to force that either, though. Ooh, nice. Saying there's a chance. Oh, yeah. Get this Mystic Sanctuary the heck out of here. And I don't think I want Swords of Plowshares in this matchup either. I do want Flooded Strand to shuffle that away, and hopefully I'll get Meticulous Archive for some selection off of that. I am going to have to interact with this Narset, and then that's going to have to inform decisions about how I interact with the Wandering Emperor. I think the plan is force Narset, play Teferi, and then Psychic Frog in the future. Emperor is way less scary if they can't flash it in. Okay, that's handled. Archive, Prismatic Ending, no help there. Stoneforge Mystic, okay. Well, that's interesting. I could play Teferi now and just lock in my profits on that. I could play Stoneforge Mystic, threaten Caldera. I think I'm just going to try to get Teferi in and probably just minus on nothing. Get my cards flowing. Okay, cool. Now I can answer the Emperor, if that's even a card I care about. Probably do. Do I care about it more than Psychic Frog? I could use Psychic Frog to protect Stoneforge Mystic next turn, but by then they'll have a 2/2 attacking Teferi. I guess I could have plus Teferi and just checkmated the Wandering Emperor completely. If they make the 2/2 in their main phase, I just bounce it. Okay, how do I want to play this? I can spend 2 cards to clear it with Psychic Frog. I could try to beat it on board with Stoneforge Mystic, but that lets Teferi die. If I draw a blue card and can protect Psychic Frog and be bigger than Wandering Emperor, that's all really interesting to me. All right, I'm going to force this. I think I messed up, though. I was supposed to plus Teferi, knowing that they had Emperor over there. All these little decisions adding up. It's a beautiful thing. And I'm just going to get Cauldra. I'm swinging for the fences. Nihil Spellbomb, get in there. That's a card someday. We don't know these cards anymore. These are from the Brainstorm earlier. Savine's Wreck on Narset. Well, good thing I have this Nihil Spellbomb. I don't get to draw a card, but you don't get a Narset. That's worth multiple cards to me. Trying to be a blue-white Savine's Wreck gamer is bold in this Psychic Frog Reanimator format where everyone has Graveyard Hate in their deck. I can get the other Surveil land with this. We're in the dregs now. Whoever finds the next good card is probably favored. Teferi's doing some work, though. Sewer. Another Spellbomb. They are holding that Savine's Wreck over there. I am going to keep the Spellbomb. I think there's a good chance this game goes long enough that that Spellbomb matters and that Savine's Wreck matters. And if it doesn't, I'll just cantrip off it. Leave it in play for now. Ponder! Oh my goodness. Card that is insanely good. Formal Wear. There's no creatures in my graveyard because the removal is all exile based. But I'm pretty close to casting Batterskull at this point. I am not going to minus Teferi yet. I could have bounced Stoneforge Mystic to protect it and then tutor the next equipment next turn, then I'm just up 3 cards, but that doesn't apply any pressure. If they Prismatic End my Teferi, I'll be disappointed I didn't cash it in for a card when I could, but resetting Batterskull is pretty exciting. Arcast Lorien revealed. Nice. It's a good one. If that found Swords to Plowshares, they're in business. Still digging. Arid Mesa's fetching. Did they get there? Oh yeah, they did. Okay, that resolves. I'm gonna bust Nihil Spellbomb here, because clearing the Savine's Wreck itself is the same as countering Savine's Wreck later. Except now I get a card right away and might cast Batterskull. That didn't happen. Brainstorm. A Force Blue card is a nice backup here. I don't need Cauldron in my hand. And put back the Batterskull as well. I think Teferi's just going to draw a card here. What am I waiting for? Ponder's fine. Both of these decks are full of air. Like, removal spells aren't very good. Their counter spells are all blank. Lands are useless at this point. Oh my goodness, let's go. Okay. I am actually not going to fight over this. That does basically nothing on its own. I can counter the Planeswalker or whatever would give me a poison counter. Or I can just wait a couple turns and bounce this Gauntlet. Okay, I can plow the Snapcaster. I don't need to interact here. They did masterfully evade my Nihil Spellbomb, though. Do they want to put a counter on my Teferi? They don't. Okay, that's fair. I understand why you'd come to that decision. They did not shuffle their Ponder. Plow this Snapcaster. Plus Teferi, cast Batterskull. I don't care about a removal spell, because I could just pick up and put back Batterskull if it's like Swords of Plowshares, Prismatic Ending, Supreme Verdict, that sort of thing. We're in the long game. Back to basics. I care a lot about that, unfortunately. I can play through that, but I did not sculpt to a situation where that's viable. And now my shields are down. Another card here. Fetching Misty Rainforest. That sucks really, 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 really hard. That's what I was worried about. 2 good cards in 1 turn through my force. Oh, they have the Days Undoing ready to go. Wrath of the Skies, that kills Phyrexian Germ token. I'm in bad shape. I guess the hero move there is let back to basics resolve and let Teferi try to handle it over multiple turns. Now I'm just in the lock. This Ponder doesn't even work. Yeah, I'm fucked. It's over. This Narset will never run out of energy or loyalty, whatever these things have. Yeah, we don't need to do this. Okay. It's really tough to understand when you're supposed to fight over a card like Back to Basics and when you're not. I could definitely see just saying this was not the spot for that. Playing against a lot of Planeswalkers here. And once again, I have to take the aggro roll because I'm against a proper control deck. I think these plows come out definitely for Orcish Bowmaster, deciding if I want anything else. I saw Snapcaster Mage and Savine's Wreck, maybe one Ghost Vacuum does something, but I have the 2 Spell Bombs in here already. Could just leave a Plow in. I'm not going to try to Harbinge them. Yeah, I don't have Mystical Disputes or anything that would really indicate that I'm ready for fair Planeswalker combat. This has been a really strange league compared to the top of the format, the Blood Moon decks, the aggressive Eldrazi decks. We haven't played against the Psychic Frog yet. And this is an important test for a deck you're serious about for a tournament, is does it beat the random stuff? Because even if a deck is 25% of the metagame, 75% of your matches won't be against it. And that's something you got to consider for a tournament like Eternal Weekend, where you're going to play 12 rounds of Magic. If I had just fetched basics last game, even just 1 or 2 basics more than I had in play, I could have ignored the back to basics and then forced the Narset, and then Batterskull's doing its job. I still don't think I can afford to just fetch exclusively basics here. The value of getting Surveillant is just so high. Sewers, Stoneforge Mystic, keep it. Let's try to send the damage in. They surveilled away a Dovin Hand of Control. This is definitely my list, or something heavily inspired by it. I've played Ickermoon Gauntlet Control multiple times. How aggressive do I want to be? Not that aggressive. Because that's a spot where I could Force of Will that Plow and then try to get Cauldron over the finish line, but they're a deck full of white removal and counterspells. Show me your secrets. Back to basics to Fairy, Wrath of the Skies. Narset. Well, we're in the zone where they're just gonna pummel me with game-ending 3-drops over and over again. I think Narset's actually the one that I'm most scared of. Tap land, I can put away these equipment, or I can put back Batterskull and Archive, and then fetch the Archive. If I force whatever 3-drop they play this turn, and then snap Thoughtseize the other one, that is a plan to be clear of this triple threat that my first Thoughtseize saw. I did happen to have 3 answers. Going for Teferi, that makes a lot of sense. Force pitching Brainstorm. I wonder how many of these back to basics they play. I'm getting Meticulous Archive, you can't stop me. Ponder. I'm going to graveyard that. I want more velocity, I want threats. Snapcaster, Thoughtseize. Let's see those thoughts again. Got to take back to basics, because that's the line I lined up. Well, they drew another removal spell, which is disappointing, because this Psychic Frog, I was hoping that they had to deal with Snapcaster on damage and then Frog could do stuff. May or may not work out that way. Brainstorm into Gauntlet, that's fine. Multiple Frogs. And all I can do is try to get them on the hook for one of these Frogs. If they are floating a white source, they get a Wrath here, and then I'm in the garbage. Shit. Oh, it's so bad. It's always so bad. Nightmare Scenario. Tundra. I mean, I could play Frog here and just flush out the Plow. I know they have it, but then I'm really not doing anything. Okay. Obviously, I hate this, but we got to get over the line somehow. Pre-war Formal Wear looking pretty good right now. Brainstorm. I'm now wishing I kept Batterskull earlier instead of Cauldron. What I was thinking was, if I draw a Stoneforge Mystic and I show them Batterskull, maybe they'll chill and let me get Cauldron in, but I think Batterskull's castability just should have been the tiebreaker. Oh, you gotta work so hard with this deck. They shuffled their Ponder. They've got the Plow. Come on, good card. Not a good card. So bad, so bad. And this is the spot in the game where the mid-range has failed, and now we are in a very long game versus a control deck. And we gotta really make it work here. Okay, I'll keep a Ponder. This gives me force blue card in case they rip something messed up. And then there's another Ponder on top of the deck, and I can just cantrip on the slow if they don't make me do stuff. Bowmaster, okay. That card's very good. All right, I'm just gonna send it out there. Feel them out. What you got over there? This thing has to do 19 by itself. Counter spell. Gross. I'm in love with their deck. I stacked the land on top so I can hardcast Force this turn. And I'm going to hold off because I know my top card's Brainstorm. Every card matters to this point. Velocity doesn't. And I want to see all new cards off my cantrips next turn. Ponder. I'm going to take the Polluted Delta so I can keep force up. Also, one away from Cauldron at this point. Dragged it out. Well, have to react to this. Mystic Sanctuary, are you something I want? Probably not, because there's no answers to Narset in my graveyard. This is going to resolve, or it's not. I'll get a basic. Okay, they're fetching in response. Snap Counterspell. This is peak Magic the Gathering. Okay, so I gotta draw the land for Cauldron here and clear the Narset. That's my chance to still be playing this game. I found Savine's Wreck. Disgusting. It's over. It's so over. Stoneforge Mystic. That might not be over. Formal Wear. It's time. Get back. Orcish Bowmaster. Is that better than Psychic Frog here? It might be. They can Savine's Wreck back to basics next turn. It's insanely messed up. There's nothing worth Snapcastering. Like, I can plow their snap, but I'm still locked. I guess plowing their snap gives me better attackers, but I can also Bowmaster their snap. Yeah, I'm getting Bowmaster. Okay. I got some creatures in play. They can hit me with back to basics or Teferi or Narset or Snapcaster next turn. The Savine's Wreck, completely insane right now. Narset's digging. Okay, you had one of those anyway. Don't you feel silly? Fetching a Plains. Jesus. All right. Okay. Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. I've played a lot of this deck. My opponent's style of deck, just blue-white Supreme Verdicts and removal spells deck, and I love playing against decks like this one, and that's why. There is a point where you are just worse than them. If you don't get it done in the mid-range, you will not win the late game. On to the next round. We're a few rounds into the video. Thanks for sticking with me. If you're having fun, hit that subscribe button, and if you want to play what I'm playing, you can order it all in one package from cardtrader.com. Use code BoshNRoll for 5% off your first order. I'm on the draw in round 4. I will keep my hand. I understand it has one land in it, but I'm on the draw with a Brainstorm. Tropical Island. What the hell is this? Oh, probably Nadu. Well, this is not getting better if they have Halfling. Tundra Ponder is the play. Just looking for lands. Okay, found a land and a Thoughtseize. That is meaningful. That gives me a nice turn next turn of brainstorming away at least one of these weapons and then Thoughtseizing them. If this is Nadu, I would like to get control of the situation more than I want to aggressively shove a Stoneforge. Brainstorm, put back, Formal Wear, and I think the Cauldron goes too. Rather than playing whack-a-mole with what weapon I have in my hand, I can just have a good handful of cards. Okay, this is definitely some sort of Nadu pile. Brainstorm, Keen-Eyed Curator, Swords to Plowshares. I'm going to take this Brainstorm. Their hand is currently bad, and I'd like to keep it that way. If they draw a green source that is not Dryad Arbor right now, the Curator actually does lock the Snapcaster. But then I'd play Stoneforge. Alright, Caracas I don't care about at all. Forg. I'm going to get Scrubland to round out the colors. I think that is better than doubling up on anything, and I'm just going to Thoughtseize them again. It would be sick if they plow in response. Then I get 2 cards. Oh, they drew Nadu and were afraid to cast it. I like that. Take that shit. Goodbye. Okay, cool. There's the Arbor. I'm going to attack first and see what they do. Nothing, because they're a wuss. I'm going to Brainstorm here. Formal and Cauldron, they stayed together. Definitely a Motobug. I'm going to put away, and by definitely I mean it's a joke every time. People sometimes are like, is that seriously a bug on Magic Online? No. I put back these 2. Just going to keep the pile of threats on. This Stoneforge should be enough to get the Swords of Plowshares out of their grip. I'm going to grab Formal Wear. And then next turn I can play Frog, hopefully 2 of them, if I draw a land. Okay, good enough, we did it. They can play Curator this turn, for sure. And then there's 2 cards I don't know about. Uh-oh, uh-oh. Did they rip a Nadu? If they play Nadu with Caracas up to protect it, that's just going to grind me up. I was excited about this deck, but I'm slowly losing enthusiasm as we play through these games where everybody can just go over the top of me in some embarrassing fashion. Okay, at least they can't leave up Caracas this turn, but they are going to have a Nadu. I gotta draw a removal spell right the hell now. Brainstorm, I mean, that's looks. Brainstorm. Oh my god. Well, We're not winning this game. You just can't win. It's impossible. Nobody could ever win a game of Legacy like this. It's incredible. Well, if they can't target Nadu, Frog can just be bigger. I got that going for me. They have the Caracas. They could get one extra flip a turn. They could also block bounce with Nadu and put me in like a super slow squeeze. But a slow squeeze is still a squeeze here. If fetch land, one card left. Jesus Christ. All right. Okay. Next game. All right, what helps here? I think Harbinger is good. I've liked Harbinger versus various Nadu decks. I know they have the mana dorks and stuff, but we play removal. Wrath of the Sky is good against the dorks. Pest Control is a maybe. I haven't played with this card since Nadu was printed. This one had a lot of heat on it when it first came out, and then the format kind of went somewhere else for a while. Bowmaster is not super important here. The Graveyard is not important. I think Harbinger and Wrath is where I want to be. This deck is not going to be killing my creatures in any normal capacity, and the Graveyard doesn't matter. Okay, yep, I got a bunch of removal spells now, and significantly less Graveyard hate. Do I want these Bowmasters in? And if so, where would they go? I don't think I have any more cuts I want to make. Okay, Cape Thoughtseize. What you doing over there? I hate this basic swamp. I don't like that this is here. Brainstorm, Halfling, Zenith. Zenith is the shortest path to Nadu. I'm going to lock in my profits with the taking Brainstorm, and then hope that I can come up with another answer to Zenith before their third turn. They played their Halfling. I'm going to cast a Ponder. I did find an answer to the Zenith. We got that going. Okay, I'll put Stoneforge in my hand and draw Snapcaster after it, then shuffle away the other card, the land. Edge Maze from hand. That's good. I didn't have that information. Put a card on top. Terrifying. I'm going to fetch a Tundra here, and then Snap Thoughtseize. I'll take the Zenith. It's just a plow in there. Plow in some lands, plus whatever they just kept on top of their deck. Played Mysterian Forest and passed. Cauldra, okay. I'm going to Ponder first, because Stoneforge can give me a shuffle. Shame, since I like all these cards. I could Brainstorm away the Cauldra. Brainstorm. Put away Cauldra and one of the frogs. Or is it Snapcaster? I think it's one of the frogs. Okay, I'm going to attack. This gets blown out by Endurance, but that's fine. I think getting through 2 damage through is worth more than the possibility of being scared of Endurance. They get Cauldra. Make them incentivized to use this plow. Yep, that's gone. There's Archive from hand. Getting rowdy with the Halfling. Okay, I like this Swords to Plowshares a lot. I'm going to play Teferi first and see what they want to do about that. Attack with Snapcaster. So there is a value line of picking up my Snapcaster, but we've seen Dryad Arbor, and if they fetch it to clear Teferi, I want to use the plow to finish that off. Yeah, see that. And I am going to let them get into combat and commit to the attack, because if they had just used it to Zenith instead, I want to be able to kill Nadu. And now Snap Plow for the other one is live. This thing's back. We've worked through all the cards that I knew about. Plus Teferi. Attack for 1, or for 2. Attack with my 1 creature for 2. And then I'm going to go land Frog. Snapcaster's still up. It can Ponder, Plow, or Brainstorm. They have Cajillions of mana. Birds of Paradise. That one's good to know about. I'm going to get a Surveil land in the end step. Undercity Sewers. Don't need a scrub land. I'm going to attack with my creatures. Jumping with Bird. I like that. And I will keep playing out lands because Cauldron's in my hand. Uh-oh. Here comes Nadu. There's a legendary spell being cast. I can respond to a Nomad, which they don't have. So they're going to get 1 flip off my plow here. Unless they have Fairy Macabre, then they'll get no flips and they get to keep their thing. A Nadu trigger. Put Misty Rainforest into play. But then Nadu's gone. I could Brainstorm here, which might find land number 7, or I don't think Cauldra is what this game's about. I'm just going to go to my turn. Well, Cauldra could be what this game is about if I want it to be. My options are put them on a 3-turn clock where I'm seeing a bunch of extra cards and have mana up, or put them on a 2-turn clock where I don't have those things. But I can also just cast Cauldra next turn. Yeah, I'm just going to attack with my creatures. Creatures are in. There's Stoneforge. Stoneforge comes with its own built-in shuffle system, and I can grab the Cauldron back. Oh, that's so much better. I'm going to put back Meticulous Archive and Stoneforge, and just pass with Force of Will up. I will play the land, though. Even if they do have an uncounterable Nadu, I can have a Force of Will on the follow-up, which, okay, we just got it under control. Seeing Birds of Paradise in addition to the Halfling is tempting for Pest Control. Pest Control can also get Errant Nomads Encores that might be in play without a combo. Don't know how reasonable that is. Bowmaster hits Bird. I don't think I've talked myself out of my current configuration. Yeah, I'm just going to hit Submit. Terrible hand. Gonna mulligan this. Well, I have 2 removal spells here and Force Blue card and Harbinger. I'm going to keep this in bottom. It might be Wrath, actually. Because I need Teferi to be my blue card for Force. Harbinger is my plan. Yeah, I'm going to bottom Wrath. This hand has problems, obviously. It desperately needs a land. But I think it's better than going to 5. Stoneforge. Now my next land immediately applies pressure. It's getting better. Of course, I have one of the 2 lands in the deck that doesn't cast Brainstorm. Beastorm from the opponent. Okay, there's Halfling. I can ending that. Moment of Truth. Land. Didn't get it, but we kept the hand because it could do this and buy some time. Okay, another Brainstorm. And they didn't shuffle the last Brainstorm. It's possible they don't have another land here. There are 20 lands in my deck, which is a responsible number for the archetype. They found land 3. Appear to have a 2-drop of some kind. Not fighting that shit. Come on, land. Easy game. Always had it. Except you know that I didn't, which is funny. Also, tough beats, because I can't fetch basic mountain or basic swamp here because of that doesn't cast Harbinger. I'm going to go for Stoneforge rather than Frog. Now that they have a 3/3 in the way, which is not that hopeful. Frog is a reasonable blue card to pitch as well, because if I get the Harbinger down and Teferi can bounce this Curator, they're never replaying it. Swords of Plowshares works, that's fine. This is all distractions. Ponder. There are sorceries, lands, and instants in the graveyard. Keen-Eyed Curator can't go Psycho mode just yet. Taken 3. Basic Plains. This Harbinger is getting worse every second. Maybe this card just sucks. Tameo and Brainstorm. I can Brainstorm, try to hit a land. I can Tameo and pass. I'm going to Brainstorm. Come on, land. Okay, Shitty Cauldron goes back into the deck, and Harbinger is just not what it's about anymore. They have the basic planes, and they have the bird. Yeah. Harbinger gaming is over. Thoughts easier. 2-card hand. I'd like to take a Nadu out of it. Nomad and Teferi. I'll take Teferi. I'm less worried about Nomad. And now that Harbinger is not part of the plan, I'm just going to get Tundra and cast Tameo. This Curator can go Psycho this turn, though. They have 4 mana, and there are 4 card types in the graveyard. But then Teferi can bounce it, and we're chilling. No blocks. Gets Trample when it goes Psycho as well. When it exiles a Delirium's worth of cards, it gets +4/+4 in Trample. Sorcery, instant, and land can all come out of my graveyard. Then they got to take their own Planeswalker. Okay, Raccoon Demon unlocked. Nomad can be in play. I think that's fine. Okay, and a Windswept Heath. Come on, land. Oh, this friggin' thing. Okay, well, I guess what I'm going to do is cast Teferi and bounce the Raccoon and hope that I draw a land that flips Tameo. All right, delete this Raccoon. Did not draw that. Okay. Tameo doesn't get to attack this turn. They could fetch Dryad Arbor and kill Teferi anyway. I want to make them do that, though. No free lunches around here. Teferi mostly did his job. I'm not going to block, because Teferi dies either way. I think I have to force this Raccoon. Because with Teferi in the graveyard, that's another Delirium's worth, and this thing going Psycho is not something I can beat. I can pitch that Harbinger that is no longer useful. Okay. Tameo can flip this turn. Flip Tameo, cast Frog. We're in business. Board full of 1-power creatures in shambles. Brainstorm. put back... Oh, this is a mess. Okay, I could just mill away the Cauldra. I could mill away the Cauldra next turn after I attack with Psychic Frog. I could mill away the island, draw the Cauldra. Why would I do that? How do I win this game if Caudra's in the graveyard? I still have Batterskull. I still have Psychic Frog. Okay, I'm going to put back Cauldra and island. And I'm going to mill away the island with Meticulous Archive and cast Psychic Frog. Keeping the other Tamiyo back for Force of Will duty. Opponent's top decking over there. Their creatures are ineffective in combat. Tamiyo's ticking. They dumped a Flooded Strand off Hedge Maze. Well, they have to draw 2 good cards here before I draw any good cards. They have a flying blocker, so I'll just attack. I can put them in the Abyss here. We can just see what creature they're most comfortable losing. Birds of Paradise is gone. Crack the Clue. Brainstorm. That could get rid of this Cauldra for good. I'm going to Brainstorm, leaving up white. Caldra's out. And Ponder can take a break. No, Tamiyo can take a break. Plus Tamiyo. Play the other frog. Pass with 2 frogs and force backup. They didn't play a card last turn. If that card is Cavern of Souls and they stick Nadu now, that could be really bad. If that card is like Veil of Summer, that could be bad. Spell Pierce, Mystical Dispute, anything that protects Nadu. Like if the mystery card plus whatever comes up this turn is Nadu plus protection, we probably just lose the game. Okay, they do have a shot at Nadu. Is the one card in their hand Veil of Summer? It's not. Okay. It's another Nomad. Yeah, the dust is settled. They can block both my frogs this turn and save the Nomads, which means I'm incentivized to jump the frogs. Because if they chump and then redirect the damage to Dryad Arbor from both, they can actually keep both Nomads and I draw 0 cards. I can minus Tamiyo and get Force of Will back. I think I just want to draw a bunch of cards. Jump Frog, leaving spells in my graveyard for Tamiyo and Snapcaster considerations. This would be a great board state to find that Wrath of the Skies that's in my deck. Those pest controls in my sideboard would be really good right now, too. Alright, frogs, deliver me from evil. Prismatic Ending. I just get Force of Will here. Okay, no, they packed it. Cool. We're on the board. We beat a deck. On to the final round. I'm on the draw in the final round. Another hand with bad mana. 20 lands is so reasonable for a Legacy deck with Brainstorm and Ponder in it, and I feel like I've had a lot of mana problems in this league. Okay, still mana problems, but they're not as bad as they were. At least this one doesn't come into play tapped. I'm going to keep this and bottom Spellbomb. Spellbomb is the high roll. If they are Reanimator, I wish I kept that. If they're anything else, I'm glad it's gone. Underground Sea, bad start. Underground Sea, pass, just representing the Entomb. Hey, never punished. Now, do I get a basic or not? Oh, that's disgusting. Well, I can't beat that shit. Have to force it. Okay. Well, now what do I do with that information? I'm going to Thoughtseize them and hope that I don't see a Wasteland in their hand. It's just Dimir, Dreadnought. Great. Entomb, Reanimate, and Wasteland. We're so dead. It's just Froginator with Stifle. Okay, can I draw a fetch land and play the game? Or not? They drew Brainstorm. Chill. Weird to Brainstorm second, though. Like, if you're going to do it first, or wait till next turn. Land off the top. Shit. 3-drop. One thing I will say that I like a lot about the decks that are good in this format, oh, they may have set up a monster with Brainstorm here. There's only 2 monsters in the deck, and there's 1 card I haven't seen. Okay. One thing I do like about the low to the ground speed of this format is that when you're playing a lot of the top decks, you don't care that much about Wasteland. Even the Eldrazi deck can power through it at some critical mass. You only need 1 land in play to win with Reanimator. There's just a lot to like about that aspect of the format right now that this deck seems to struggle with, even though it is a 20 land deck with 4 basics, and yet I found myself in mana problems a lot. Psychic Frog, okay. It's still not too late to draw a land deck. A white source right now, and we're still gaming. I hate this. And I could have fetched basic Island on turn 1 and played Nile Spellbomb instead of Thoughtseizing my opponent. But that doesn't cast my spells either. Like, if I had fetched basic Island on turn 1 and played Nile Spellbomb, I would have cast the same number of spells this game. I guess this Brainstorm then breaks it. Okay. You have an Entomb. Good job. Well, there's that. Ghost Vacuum comes in. I don't want Force of Will, especially if they're going to juke. But even if they don't juke, Nile Spellbomb and Ghost Vacuum and Thoughtseize do a lot to interact. Wrath of the Skies is good if they go onto a creature plan. Bowmaster is also just a card I can bring in and apply pressure in a different way. Yeah, Zero Forces might be a little bit bold, but I don't hate it. Okay, let's try this. Light Pivot. Oh my god. How? How is the mana so bad in this deck that is so responsible? I will mulligan this hand that doesn't cast any spells. Okay, I'll keep this hand, and I'm going to bottom Mystic Sanctuary. I'm still going to Thoughtseize them on one. You can't stop me. Wasteland confirmed. Entomb, Reanimate, Animate Dead, Daze. Right, well, I'm taking the Entomb, which functionally takes 2 other cards out of their hand with it temporarily. Yeah, there's your Wasteland. Can my deck, full of lands, absorb this? I think I want to just Brainstorm now before Daze is on. Though if they want to Daze and instead Brainstorm, now I'm going to Brainstorm now. Found the fetch land. Okay, we're going to play the game at least. Saying there's a chance. They have access to basic blue and basic white. I could play Tameo next turn without turning on Daze. Oh no. If they drew Stifle, they can actually get me here. They would not do this if they didn't have Stifle. I am just going to let this resolve. Hate that for me, but at least I didn't get my land smoked. I'm going to fetch a basic right now while I can. Get this Plains. That was a weird interaction. I'm animating my Tameo. They can make clues. Flipping Tameo is not optional. That means if they ever cast the Brainstorm in their hand, I get a Planeswalker. Okay, all basics. I think Snapcaster's the farthest from useful. Float this Frog on top. I could flesh out the Daze with the Stoneforge, or I could just play around it for the whole game. I'm going to do that. As Brainstorm just kind of locked in their hand is fun. Unless they don't understand this interaction, which would be even more fun. Cycling Troll. The Reanimate was used. That is a target for Animate Dead, though, someday. Tameo made a clue. Oh. They don't know. Transformed under her owner's control. Owned by BoshNRoll. Look at that reminder text. Thanks, Magic Online. Even tried for the layup. Zoop. Okay, thanks. That's why I didn't kill her before combat. Just in case. This Brainstorm's gone. Troll's been cycled. Animate Dead in their hand. Plus this Tameo. And I believe I deposit my Frog into play here. Their reanimates are better on my Frog than anything else, but Stoneforge can tutor for Formal Wear, which gets Frog back if we're playing a long game, and I kind of have to here. This is a situation where I am the control deck. If they've found an Entomb, I am in trouble. Reanimating Troll, okay. That's allowed. They still have the Animate Dead, presumably. They did Brainstorm, but they didn't shuffle right away. Another Brainstorm. Is the top of my deck Teferi, or have I shuffled since then? I've lost track, I'm not going to lie. I can test this Daze right now, and I can even just buy back the Plow with Tameo if the top of my deck is not Teferi. Okay, they just let it happen. That's cool. They may have just brainstormed the Daze away, seeing my pile of Snapcaster. I think I did know that, actually. All good. Frog. Cause problems. We did it. Frog has connected. I think Tameo is going to get back my Thoughtseize. I just want to see what's going on over there. They could stifle this, and if my read from 2 turns ago is right, they may very well have a stifle if they didn't brainstorm it away by now. Thoughtseize. Okay, animate stifle. They did have a stifle. Look at that. Animate Dead, Brainstorm, Stifle, Psychic Frog. It's probably Brainstorm that I'm most worried about here. Every card in my hand is susceptible to stifle. I'm going to take the Brainstorm, actually. Because if I cast Stoneforge Mystic right now, and they want to stifle this ETB trigger, then I have Snap Plow for the Frog, and then that's most of their hand covered. Okay, they did not tangle with that, so I'll just take Cauldra. And Stifle also hits Living Weapon. Yeah, Stifle is just hitting every card in my deck, basically. And I really hope they don't fetch a Surveil land and flip over an Archon of Cruelty right now. Surveil land, hit. Metamorphosis Fanatic. There are no other creatures in the graveyard, so Animate Deading that is not a chain reaction of doom at this time. Psychic Frog, you're in there. They've got 3 cards in their hand. If I draw a land, I can put in Cauldra and then Snap Plow. Okay, plus Tameo. I'd love to just find a removal spell here. Or if they stifle that, would be sick. Ponder. That was my only blue source. No longer. Okay. Tundra, Ponder, Plow. Do not shuffle. Plow the Frog. And I'm just going to attack with Psychic Frog, and I'm not going to feed them this easy stifle. There's Ponder. I have Bowmaster or Cauldra available to me here. Sick. Playing around the stifle got me a nice little extra sauce on the Bowmaster. They could daze this, they could Fatal Push this, but I'm starting to get a critical mass of things they have to care about. Force pitching Psychic Frog. Wow, that was a big exchange. Nice. So their hand is still Stifle plus Animate Dead. I think I should chuck the Tameo and buy back Thoughtseize again. That's my best path through the Stifle, and if they stifle the Tameo activation, then it's like I get to Thoughtseize them without losing 2 life or spending the mana. And they get to keep their Animate Dead, but I think I'm okay with that. Stoneforge, do your thing. Guess I'm supposed to Snapcaster first. But I can see a card off Frog this way. Batter Skull, not what I'm looking for. I'm going to Snap Thoughtseize. Cast this Thoughtseize for the 4th time this game. Remember when I said I like casting Thoughtseize? I wasn't lying. What do you got over there? It could still all fall apart to a chain of Metamorphosis Fanatics flowing into play. Animate Dead right now gets back Bowmaster, Tameo, Fanatic with no follow-up. I'm actually just going to take the Ponder here. I'm not worried about Animate Dead as things stand right now. That does give them the high roll of drawing exactly Entomb to punish me, but it's fewer looks at stability. Cool. All right. Stifle still in, Reanimate Package still in. I don't think anything changes here. It's just if I want any number of Force of Will or not, or do I want to fight this game on the field with Thoughtseizes and Ghost Vacuums and Nile Spell Bombs? On the draw, it gets a little dicier. But what would I cut? The Bowmasters? The 2 Bowmasters and get 2 Force of Wills back in? Or I could probably cut 1 Teferi, 1 Bowmaster. This is a matchup where I want all 3 weapons in. These forces are going to be really bad some percentage of the time, though. Teferi beats Stifle. It just unlocks the entire Stifle plan. Okay, I'm going to bring 2 forces in on the draw. They demonstrated that they're still entombing and reanimating. Okay, 2 lands and some interactive spells. It's going to have to work. Okay, the Stifle is a concern. I'm going to play around Stifle by playing Undercity Sewers. If they just send it on Entomb Reanimate, they win. Well, that's not even true. I can plow the monster and we'll try to grind through it. But I really hope they don't Entomb Reanimate here. Please just fetch Undercity Sewers. Cool. It ended up being Entomb anyway. I'm quitting Magic. This is an outrage. God damn it. I don't think I'm going to go to Eternal Weekend this year. Canceling all my flights. What the fuck? Just, yeah, there it was. I'm glad that wasn't Entomb, except it was Entomb. And Polluted Delta at the same time. But now is the real test. Now we can send a Swords to Plowshares over there. See what they're made out of. I'm going to start with Thoughtseize, and I'm not going to play around Daze, because if I Thoughtseize and they have Daze, they stifle 2 Wastelands. Frog. Okay, I'm going to take the Frog. I'm going to fetch basic Plains. Can I play around Wasteland anyway? Probably not. But at least having Swords to Plowshares as a guaranteed card I can cast is some consolation. Okay. They are up many cards and at 27 life. And they have 2 Wastelands for my next 2 land drops. And Stifle for my next fetch. Can we play this game? Let's find out. Okay, there's Teferi. I like that guy. Ponder, let's find some lands. If this Ponder just shows me 3 lands, I'd be pretty hyped. How about 0 lands? Shuffle that. I can't even keep that Ponder because the other Ponder's in it, because I'm not going to have this Tundra starting next turn. And this game is a really good showcase because I did a set versus Andreas Peterson where he was on Reanimator and I was on a bunch of other decks over the course of a bunch of games. And his Reanimator innovation is he cut all the Wastelands to just have better mana, so you can reanimate more frequently and cut down on those awful no playable mana hands that Reanimator is prone to. but I think I'd be beating Andreas pretty smoothly here, but because this opponent wastelanded me twice, I'm just not doing anything. I stopped their initial thing, and instead of brainstorming thoughts, using them, and resolving Teferi, I just can't do anything. They just brainstormed. Good chance some of these lands aren't in the hand anymore. Prismatic Ending. Great. Again, attempt to answer their next creature they play. Cycled another Troll. Metamorphosis Fanatic at any time is game. That one brings back way more than I'm prepared to answer. Ooh. Big Slurpees. Let's go. Stifle lines up kind of well against this. They could daze it. Can't do anything about daze. But in terms of 1-mana cards I could draw here, this is probably among the best of them. They are spending a force on this. Good call. Force, pitching, force. Yeah, that's gone. The high rolls will continue to roll. Every draw step could be Metamorphosis Fanatic. Another Troll, that's 3 of them in there. Entomb, okay. Atraxis in the graveyard now. Do you have the Reanimate ready to go? Or is this an investment in the future? Oh yeah, you were ready. I have to imagine this last card in their hand is Stifle, Force of Will, Wasteland, Reanimate. Okay, losing to Wasteland. I think more than anything about my own deck, we learned that the Wastelands are really good here. And while it might be creative and smart in something like a mirror match where Wasteland is a liability to cut on that plan, maybe that's pretty bad versus the field at large. Because if they don't Wasteland me twice, I think I have firm control of this game. But they did. And now I can't possibly win. Okay, that was rough. I came into this league really excited about the opportunity to play this cool deck with the play patterns that I have historically enjoyed. Did well in a recent 123 player tournament. And then we just got our asses kicked for 2 hours. I did beat Nadu. We did play against 3 decks that exist in the extremes, which, as I said in the deck tech and in the respective matches, mid-range decks are built to go over aggro and under control. And we played against some of the most insane, deadly, grindy combo decks and control decks that the format has to offer. The Cloudpost deck, you cannot beat that deck once it gets out of the mid-range and into the late game. You're never catching up. Same with the blue-white control deck we played against with all the Planeswalkers. Mystic Forge combo, that one, you do have to thread the needle because they're very good at force checking you, and the baubles and the defense grids and everything they have, plus Urza Saga grinding. That matchup feels really bad. But in terms of decks that are kind of normal and we'd expect to see, I did beat Nadu. I lost to Frog. I lost to their Wastelands. And they had this like crazy extra mana punishing Stifle build, which is not stock, but I have seen before. I'm not ruling anything out, but this was not the delightful, successful outing. I was hoping for, 3-2, 4-1, feel good about it. Okay, I see what's going on here. I didn't play perfectly. There were a couple spots I identified where I was just a little too aggressive about my plan or didn't lock up a hole that I knew could be exploited. I never really just YOLO'd it, but I did, with that ponder on that, giving up the blue card for Force of Will, the confluence of not finding a blue card on ponder and they had the turn 1 thing isn't going to happen every game. Like some percentage of games that play is fine, but that game I could have done something different. Maybe you just have to be super tight there. Also willing to believe I'm not mulling hard enough. Decks like this, I like to play because you get to keep 7 a lot, and just the redundancy of interaction, the redundancy of threats, the high land count. You get to keep 7s, but maybe in this London Mulligan world, you're just supposed to chase very good 5s or very good 6s instead of keeping just 7s that have spells in them. Not rolling anything out. I will be talking to people. I'll talk to Maxtortion and other folks as Eternal Weekend gets closer, but I didn't fall in love with this, which is sad because I am searching for my Eternal Weekend deck right now. But that's what I got for you today. This was a lot of work for not a lot of winning. Sad to report. Everyone, thanks for watching. First Revenge, thanks for asking me to play this deck. Maxtortion, thanks for designing the deck and putting it out in the world. Everybody, like, comment, subscribe, check out the Patreon, buy some cards from cardtrader.com, use code BoshNRoll, and I will see you next time.